Welcome back to the official Atari Games podcast. This is Jason here. I am joined by two lovely gentlemen. I'm first-time guest, Eric Serio, senior developer at Nightdive. Welcome, Eric. How you doing?
Thank you. I'm doing good.
Great. Well, thanks for being here. Grover Wimberly IV, producer at Nightdive and champion of my silly games.
I've been here before for Killing Time, I remember. A couple episodes back. Well, it's been quite a few episodes back.
That's right. It's also
and now they decided to do construction outside.
It's great. I think it's ambiance, so I'm going to go right through it. Don't care. We're going to leave all this in here. Now
we'll do it live.
Do it live. Speaking of housework, let's talk about housekeeping. Breakout Beyond still available now. iRobot available now. VCS owners, it's coming soon. I assure you. We are just making sure it's completely up to stuff for you guys. So thank you for your patience. And join the Atari Club on Discord. Review us on iTunes. Please, please, please. I know how many people listen to this. I know you're on YouTube. You're leaving the comments. I see them. I responded to the guy who says, "You see all the comments?" And then I said, "Yes, I do." And then we're missing iTunes reviews. We need more reviews. Please review us. It helps us with the algorithms. But talked about the releases. Why am I talking to these gentlemen? Well, if it's not obvious by Eric's shirt, if you're watching on YouTube, it's because Nightdive has some exciting announcement this week. Reading from our PR drop, I might as well just read it the way they write it, right? Nightdive Studios, renowned video game remaster developer and subsidiary of Atari, in collaboration with Universal Products and Experiences, has announced a physical edition of the Turok Trilogy bundle for Nintendo Switch and PS5. Combining the original Turok, Turok 2, Seeds of Evil, and Turok 3, Shadow of Oblivion in one cartridge/disc. Pre-orders for Turok Trilogy Bundle are now live on Atari.com and through various retailers, with orders expected to ship on August 29th, 2025. It's quite an exciting announcement. So if you're listening to this on the day it comes out or later, you can pre-order the Turok Trilogy on Switch or PS5. It's good stuff, and I thought, hey, we've never talked about Turok on the podcast. I like Turok. I like Nightdive. I like these guys. So let's talk about Turok in honor of this announcement. So with that, I'm going to start playing a little bit of Turok here. If you're not on YouTube, you go over there. You can watch me play some Turok. Get a little bit of a nostalgia hit, so you can know what it's all about. Here we go. I'm going to write a little fancy timestamp here. Where we at? We are at 2:55. Okay. Oh, all right. Some music just started playing. I don't know what I'm listening to. What is going on here? Sorry, fellas.
Got some music.
Yeah, I'm trying to find it. Sometimes you just have an errant tab with some music playing, and you just don't know what it is. Because definitely not. Maybe it's coming from Grover. Nope. Sorry, I'm actually going to pause the stream here because this is weird.
I can start. I talk about it. So earlier this year, we released a giant next-gen update for Turok 1 to coincide with the release of the PS5 and Xbox Series X versions. And it was important to us that we also respected those of us who purchased Turok 1 on limited run years ago, right? And we wanted to also update those older versions for Switch 1 and PS4 and Xbox One with all of the additions that we made with the next gen update. At least as much as we can fit into the old versions, as well as the PC and Steam versions. Eric, if you wanted to talk a little bit about some of the updates that you made, you were really the champion upon putting as much as you can fit in terms of updates you wanted to make that we couldn't do all those years ago.
Yeah, I was just glad to be working on this game because when it originally came out, the remaster, I was just a fan like everyone else. I wasn't even working at Nightdive. And eventually, because I was always a programmer, always been, I eventually got hired by Nightdive for Shadow Man. And I was just really happy that eventually I got to work on a Turok 3. And then now we're finally going back to Turok 1, which is my favorite of the Turoks. And I got to do so many things that I really hoped that would be done in the remaster. So much polish work. And also adding in the new Brachiosaurus that we found in a beta ROM that had like only recently been discovered. So I was able to extract it and fix it up a tiny bit and get it in the game. And you'll see them in level 6.
You won't see them here. You won't see them on this podcast. We're not going to get that far. These are big levels, and we're not going to be here for 3 hours. But that's a cool tease.
Unless you do the warp cheat.
I
know everyone uses cheats.
Playing it right. No. Cheats are kind of an obsolete thing, right? Like games don't have cheats like they used to. That's just not, that is a very old school thing, which makes sense when we're talking about a game like Turok. But, things like big head mode, infinite ammo, what was the Rosebud, right? Come on, classic cheats. These are all things that, they're really a relic of past games. But it's good to know that there are still cheats here.
And this game has a very old mindset of if you can find little bonus areas, you get some type of bonus. If you actually turn around right now, there's actually a hidden wall that you can climb up. And you wouldn't really know that because it looks so similar to every other wall. And how would you find that out back in the day? Well, either you're really good and you're hugging every wall, or you're reading a strategy guide, some kind of guide that tells you.
So where's the secret here? Because I didn't know there was a secret over here.
Yeah, to your left.
Okay.
And past this little building. And see that wall?
This one?
Yep.
I go up here? Oh, yeah. Why would you know that? There you go. We're learning things. Now, when you say you found that in the beta, where did you... So how did you do that? What does that mean exactly? Because I think this is interesting to know about Nightdive's process, and I think we talked a little bit about it. Well, there's a secret to get yourself killed.
You're not as good as this as you remember.
Yeah, and by remember, I mean I played through this last time about 30 minutes prior, but not 30 minutes prior, but about 2 hours prior to this. So it's interesting the way you guys work on the games at Nightdive and what kind of material you have to work with. So can you give a little bit more insight on what do you mean by saying you found that in a beta release or beta version?
Well, most of this game has been reverse engineered by Kaiser a long time ago when the remaster was first done. And just using the techniques that he used, I was able to use it on this beta ROM that was recently found. And I was able to extract all the new stuff that was in it. Fortunately, there's only the Brachiosaurus, but that alone was good enough for me. And I was able to get in the game. So reverse engineering goes even farther than the original game than you think. Nice. I could even say the same thing for Shadow Man. That game had a similar thing happen where a build was recently discovered while we were making the final patch. So it was the same thing there.
I like how, one of the things about this game that's interesting, it's one of the first 3D console, like ground up console first person shooters, right? And in a way, the game is just as much of a platformer and collector and a collectathon as it is a first person shooter, because this thing gives you so many things littered around the environment. And even just the way it leads you through levels is very much more like a platformer than a first person shooter would do.
Like how you fell off that ladder when I was playing through it when we were working on the next gen update. I was playing through it just to get more familiar with Turok as a whole, and it's the same thing. I like start sliding off of these platforms, or I fall off where I think I can make a jump and I either jump too far or I don't jump far enough. It reminded me of that because I grew up on games like GoldenEye, right, and it didn't have as much platforming as Turok does.
Yeah. And the game is so wonderfully simple. There's like 4 buttons. I mean, there's an extra one, right? Because now you added this map that is kind of a this is kind of a night dive signature, right? Is that a Kex engine specific thing? Because I remember it um while playing Killing
It was,
Time as well.
yeah, it was in Killing Time as well.
It's actually part of this game. They is in the original game.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's for Talk 1 and 2. It's kind of like a Doom aesthetic type of menu, type of map. I mean,
Gotcha.
you'd say much influence from Doom in this game. They uh, they had things like the backpack that gave you more ammo. It's a very Doom type of thing. Their original name for the ultimate weapon in this game was the BFG, which they used temporarily
Yeah.
until they changed it to the Chronocephaly.
Look, we're all familiar with placeholder names of things that are definitely
Yes.
not approved by legal to use, but that's why they're temporary. It's nothing wrong with it. All right, Kathy, if you're listening, it's fine.
So you can tell they took much influence from Doom and even Quake, the first Quake game,
Oh, sure. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
because the original game had a cheat called Quack Mode. It's kind of a knock on Quake where the animation would no longer be interpolated and all the textures would not have transparency. It would look really Quake-like.
Nice. Now you said you were a fan of Turok. So where does that go back to? Where does your Turok fandom start and or
Oh,
end? Like give me your
I'd
Turok. I want
say,
both of your Turok history, but Eric, let's get yours first.
oh, mine is definitely from when the game first came out on the N64. I mean, I was right there playing all the games like crazy. So yeah, I really enjoyed this game, beat it a lot of times. I remember the first time I played, I was kind of annoyed because I needed the controller pack in order to save, and I didn't have it. So
Oh,
it's like beat
memory
the first
card. Yeah,
level.
yeah, yeah.
Oh, I gotta go. Oh, I can't save. Gotta beat the first level over again.
Yeah. Grover. Well, how long did that fandom hold you? Because let's see, we had Turok. Let's see if I can do this. There was Turok, there was Turok 2, there was a third Turok, which was end of N64's life. Then there was
Yeah.
Turok that on GameCube and Xbox PS2. That's when it went more multi-platform. And then, of course, there was the Turok starring John Turok, I believe his name was, in the Disney version.
I think the Turok on GameCube's Turok Evolution, right? We get so many requests about Turok Evolution.
Really?
I'll see comments. I'll see comments when we have a post about Turok. It's like, that's great, Night Dive, but when is Turok Evolution coming?
Because that is prime nostalgia, right? I think that's like prime nostalgia for the people who buy video
Yeah,
games now. You know what I mean? Like if you look
right.
at if you look at like the Thing last year, right? And how many people
Yes.
went nuts over the Thing. I think it's because that it's the same thing. It's that generation. It's that PS2, Xbox, GameCube generation. And now look at how old we are now. We got the money to buy games. So
With
and
regards to
yeah, go ahead.
with regard to Turok Evolution, though, I think people want to see it remastered. But there's also the thing is like you look at the review scores and everything from that time, right? They were kind of mixed or average, right? Just taking it straight from the what it says on the Wikipedia page. It's like
Yeah.
if Night Dive were to do that, that you have those questions of, well, do you improve the gameplay to you, it gets dicey on, like, you want to remaster a game, but you also want to respect the mechanics and stuff, right, of the original. But you want to make sure you have a good game, though, right? So
Yep. Of course. Yeah. Turok Evolution was actually the first game that made me truly aware, or one of the first games that made me aware of technical differences between PS2, GameCube, and Xbox, right? And because I remember specifically the graphic comparisons that place like IGN was doing. This is before Digital Foundry. Digital Foundry goes in now, and sometimes they'll say which one runs better, PS5 or Series, et cetera, et cetera. Whereas back in the day, it was IGN that was doing these videos saying, yeah, the Xbox One is a better frame rate, the GameCube one is better, yada yada yada. And I just remember Turok Evolution being one of those first games that did that, and it was very cool. It was interesting, and I had a GameCube, so that means I was kind of like right in the middle all the time. Sometimes I got the best version of
Yeah.
the game, sometimes I didn't, and I think Turok Evolution was so drastically different from game to game that's when you really felt like if you had a PS2, you were getting objectively the worst version of the game. I also remember that game being the first one that my mom got duped into pre-ordering sight unseen at a GameStop because they were going hard with pushing pre-orders. And I remember I rented it before she had a chance to gift it to me. And she's like, "So what do you think?" I'm like, "I don't. It's not very good." And she's like, "Oh, well, the guy told me to get it, so I guess you're not going to get it now." I was like, "Yeah, that's fine." I also remember the game bugged out at like soft lock, so I couldn't finish it. But Grover,
Yeah.
what is your history with Turok?
It does not go back very far. Turok was actually a blind a spot in growing up, right? So I actually never played Turok until I got joined Nightdive. So it's very, very, very the opposite of Eric's experience, right? It's like, oh, you're going to be working on Turok. Oh, I might as well start playing what's already been here and get used to it, right? I grew up more with also you have to consider I was pretty young. I was like 7 or 8, and even then, my parents thought GoldenEye was pushing it. Like it was like right around that time. So, um, yeah. So I'm playing Turok now and learning it and getting into the series, right? So, yeah. No, I don't have the kind of nostalgia that other people on the team do have for it, but that also allows me to kind of take an objective look on like what's worth the effort when it comes to doing the remastering and where to cut things off, so to say.
Yeah. So what do you think now that when you've gone in for the first time without the nostalgia goggles? What was your thoughts on Turok
The
OG?
funny thing is, right? We have our remastered version out for Nintendo Switch, right? And then they announced it was coming to NSL, right? The original without all the changes, right? And
Yeah.
you play the one on NSL, and then you play our version. It's like, oh, okay. I like our quality of life improvements quite a bit.
Yeah. The being able to move and aim really does make a big difference, huh?
Yeah, the modern control scheme in general, yeah.
Yeah. And that's a pretty good transition there. We're talking about the improvements here. Eric, specifically with this new update, what would you say is like what are some things worth calling out from this update that came out? It's to the Kex 4 engine enhancements.
Well, definitely the number one thing I think is the frame rate increase. Before it was locked at 60, now you can go higher, and as a result, the game is much smoother to play.
I
Another
was
thing is
playing
the
this.
ability to change your ammo type. People really wanted that. And while it wasn't in the original game, it was definitely a feature that everyone wanted. So, you don't say no just because it wasn't in the original. You do it because it's you make a better game.
Right.
Agree to that.
Yeah, and you can always just leave the ammo as is, right? Not use it. Did Oh yeah, the frame rate thing makes a big difference. I'm playing at 60 right now because that's what I'm capturing at. I don't know if it necessarily makes a difference, but I was playing it at 120, and man, it's so nice. Oh, it's so nice. Big fan of it.
Very smooth.
Very smooth. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Because when I was porting, helping out with porting, I was constantly playing the old version, the remaster, and the original game, so just to test things out and see how things were working. And every time I go back to the original game or the old remaster, I'd be like, "Ugh, it's so laggy."
Yeah. You don't like
It's
playing
so much better in this new version.
360p at at like 20 frames per second. You don't like that?
No.
Oh man. Also, I know when he grabs the keys, is it just me or does he look like he's drinking from a thermos?
That's what everyone says.
Okay, cool. Just making sure it's not just me.
He's just examining it, like, whoa, like
This
Link
is-
in Zelda.
Is that what he's doing?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, just like Zelda. Exactly. Zelda never looked like he was.
Zelda with guns.
Link never looked like he was drinking the bombs. just held that over his head. It spun around and did a little thing. It was great. Yeah, but it works. It's silly. There's a certain campiness to this. I also love this first level. This first level is actually really, it holds up. It's withstands the test of time when it comes to educating you about the systems without really telling you anything. And I think that also kind of reminds me of why this is a bit more like a platformer and how it guides you along and takes you along a journey instead of just throwing you into a bunch of shooter arenas. It's like, no, you're going to have to platform. You're going to have to jump around. You're going to have to climb this thing. You're going to be collecting a bunch of keys. Man,
I like this approach a little bit more than even when we were working on the thing, and when I was playing through the thing remastered, and you have pop-ups that pop up everywhere that tell you how to teach the game, and sometimes it's just better to show not tell, right?
Yeah.
So,
and there's 4 buttons, so it's kind of easy to figure out, right? And if you want to know how much more difficult the thing is, go ahead and watch that podcast and watch me play the thing. It's oh man, I could tell I was torturing those guys. See, at least here I'm making progress. I haven't.
Yeah, I know you interviewed a couple of Nightdive people for that episode as well.
Yep, that's right. Try to give everybody their flowers. That's the goal here. That's the plan. That's why Eric's here. So what else on the Kex 4? Is there some other stuff that's worth calling out?
Oh well, there's a lot.
Yeah, keep going.
Looking at the change log, you can go through an entire list of things.
Give me the highlights.
I mean, you know what? Originally, if I wasn't here working on the game, there had been just porting it and doing a little bit of fixes. But with this chance to polish this game that we were given, now we have a huge list of things, and you can see that on the change log. We restored so much content: the High Priest homing, Blue Magic, Perlin's unused smash attack, the gallery cheat, toggling, walk and running, the ammo toggle already said. Mm-hmm. We got way more options for everything, for vibration, just making controls better, radial fog now, player shadows, head bobbing options for everything. Before it was either just on or off. Now we have scaling for each thing. We have more graphic options. You can see the lens flare from the sun all the time. We have anti-aliasing, anti-aliasing options from FXAA, SMAA, and so we got more audio options that come with Kex 4. Video options, we have Vulkan now, because I think before on PC we only had OpenGL and DirectX 11.
Oh, this is running Vulkan. That's I selected that.
I believe so. By default, it should be. Yeah.
Yep. Yeah. Well, that's cool. I mean, that's awesome, because that really says that the amount of changes here. It's like, even if you own the game and you have the ability to play these new updates, I mean, in a way, you basically have like another brand new version of the game to play and check out. And I'm not just blowing smoke. Like, all those things that you said really do add up to a marginally different experience.
Oh yeah.
And all
it was
better, of course.
Yeah, originally it was just a planned port for the PS5 and the Xbox Series X and S, but when I had presented all the changes, even management was like, "Whoa, this is huge, right? This is amazing. This is not what I expected, right?" And we definitely, I mentioned earlier, we wanted to see what we could do to bring because there's so many changes. We want to see what we could do to bring it all to every console, not just consider it a remaster of a remaster almost.
Yeah, of course.
Exactly.
Yeah,
that's great. So I assume that extra frame rate boost, that also hits the Series and PS5 versions as well.
Yep. For all platforms. Yeah.
That's really cool.
Switch needed it the most.
Needed what?
It sure did.
It's a little squeaky on the frame rates, going a little below 60 sometimes, but now should be solid 60.
Buttery smooth. So there you go. So play that's the way to do it then. If you have a Switch, play the original on NSO, then play
Yes,
this
and then
one
play
because if you play this
night
one,
and
then go
day.
back to the NSO, ew,
You can't.
good luck.
You can't go
Plus,
back.
plus, you need an N64 controller if you're going to do that because man, playing it the way they map the controls
The Z buttons.
to the
Yeah.
Joy-Cons are it's squirrely. The C buttons, all that stuff. It's kind of whoops, my bad. I just don't like killing the animals, but
Yeah, I tried to
should have
play.
been
I tried
standard.
to play GoldenEye on NSO, and I was just like, I couldn't do it without the actual controller.
So difficult, so difficult. I don't know how people do it. I don't know how people do it. See, and that's a perfect example. I'd sooner go back and play the HD version because I think that's on right. That's on. It's not just Perfect Dark. I sometimes kind of cross wires because I had the Perfect Dark and GoldenEye on the on Xbox.
Yes.
And
So
they have the Xbox Live Arcade Perfect Dark as well.
exactly, that's the one. Yeah, man, it's good stuff. Man, at 64 first person shooters. I know people give Halo all the love for console first person shooters, and look, in a way, they're right. Yes, it was the most mainstream. Yes, it was a good way to. It was like the first one out of the gate that really did it right. But man, there's some bangers on N64, right? Like it really N64 walked. So that generation
Everybody
walked
else could run.
so
Yeah.
that the following generation could run. Exactly.
So that Xbox Live one could run.
So that Halo could run, so that Black could run, so that Cold Winter, I'll shout out a really obscure first person shooter that I love, Cold Winter on the PS2, you know.
Should I be taking notes for this for the trivia game later?
No, you missed the part that you'll need for the trivia game later. If you didn't take notes already, you're too late. But
Oh
I think
no.
I think you'll be all right. I think you'll be okay. Based on everything we're talking about now, I think you'll be just fine. You'll be just fine. You wanted to show me some collision stuff, right? Is this a good
Oh
time to do
yeah,
that, or is this a
sure.
dangerous time to do it? This is a safe place to start. Stop. All right. So what am I doing
Sure.
here? Put in here.
Yeah, I just want to talk about how the game works a little bit, maybe so people aren't familiar with it. But
Absolutely.
the player is, everything is very smoke and mirrors. So what you're seeing is not actually what you're colliding with or anything. Like the player is actually right now on a mesh, something like a navigation mesh that modern games might be using. And if you go in the console right now and type show collision, you'll be able to see that mesh that the player is limited to, and as well as all the other actors in the game.
There we go.
So
Yeah.
there it is. So this is like a handmade mesh made by the developers, and it dictates where you can go. You can never go off the mesh, and you're going from sector to sector, which is a triangle to triangle. And each sector has properties. It defines if you can walk there, if you can climb, if it's blocked
Oh,
by
so then
an
I remember
enemy.
there was a climbing area over here, so I could see
Yeah, should
what that
have,
looks like.
they're
There we
color
go.
coded, so it should look purple,
Bright
like
purple.
that.
Yeah, very cool. I love this stuff. This is great.
And that's how you know where you can move
Mhm.
around. And it's all made in a level editor by hand. So it took them a very long time to do.
Wow.
Not very, yeah.
So what's that process? You say by hand. What is
Yeah.
it that you have from the original using the Kex engine versus what is otherwise just, oh my God, I'm trying to use a knife, but I can't see this guy through the
You
collision thing. So I'm
can,
just
you can
kind of,
turn collision off now. I think
I
people
survived.
get it by
I
now.
survived that, but I'm curious to know, like, how do you, like, what is actually visible from the original framework versus not?
What's available? Oh,
Like
just
what
about
what do
everything.
you said you're developing things by hand. So when you have that original code, what do you see? Do you see the actual original levels and then you're kind of painting over it, or how does that work?
Well, for the most part, we try not to touch the levels, but when there's problems with it, we do. So we made a level editor for this game,
Right.
and you're able to just add vertices, connect them together to create a triangle, and that's how you create the map. So you just keep doing that by hand like that in order to create the mesh. And you can add actors on and do everything.
Awesome. It's very cool. Well, what else? Anything else on the game? I feel like if I keep going, we're just going to get through the whole game here. So I think, and I don't know how long it's been. My timer
I
thing
think you're
is
about what, halfway through the level, maybe three
this is level
fourths.
2. I'm on
I
level
just
2.
started.
Yeah, this is the
Yeah.
start of level 2.
Oh,
I finished level 1. Yeah, I
you
blasted through
did.
that thing. Yeah, I'm awesome. So, and there you go. Got a checkpoint here. Let's just see what this village is about. Shoot some dinosaurs. Um, yeah. Anything else on the production side of things that you wanted to call out about the update and what people should get hyped about?
Well, I want to say that we took people by surprise when we released this, right? And the reception has been really, really positive. They're like, "Oh wow," people were asking, "When are you?" Because Turok 3 was done in Kex 4, and this and we just surprised everybody with the release on this in a couple months ago, and you know, we're taking the positive feedback and seeing what we might do in the future, right? So I appreciate all the support that everybody's given so far about how much they like the Turok 1 next gen update. And yeah,
I guess keep it coming, right? Keep the feedback coming. We'll do
yeah.
whatever you
Yeah,
guys
I
Well,
want.
really appreciated the positive feedback as well. It was really great.
Yeah, only positive feedback. Let's and of course it's going to be positive. I mean, you guys, it's kind of the night dive way, as it were. I'd be concerned if it was otherwise, but no, you guys, this is just another example of the awesome work and attention to detail and the care to remastering these classics. And even with these updates, like you would be hard pressed to tell somebody, even though you added things like, now you can swap the ammo, now you can toggle walk run, all the other additional things. It's like it is most definitely the game you remember as you'd want to play it today, like without a doubt. So, oh man, I didn't realize I had 1 health there. That got a little hairy.
that's Nightdive's MO though. It's remastering the games the way you remember
Exactly.
them. Yeah.
Yeah, totally.
Good thing about Night Dive is that the people that are working on these games that you're seeing us remaster, there is always probably everyone on the team. I was going to say maybe some people, but probably everyone loves these games so much that they are the number one fans of the game that they're working on.
That's awesome.
So you know that when we release the remaster, you're getting not just the game, but the love that it deserves from these people that love it so much. Like for me, for Turok, you can tell that I loved it so much. I put in all those fixes. I was only going to start with like maybe 20 things. And as I go on, I'm like, oh, then I could fix this and this and this and this. And then like 300 fixes later, okay, I'm done. and you can see how much it
It was a
improves.
rabbit hole, a rabbit hole of fixes.
Well, eventually it ended, so I'm
Well, that's
glad.
that's the
Yeah.
big question, right? Was there anything on the list that you wanted to fix that you didn't, or you basically just kept going? You're like, I think I did everything.
Oh,
I think I
no,
got
I
it
got
all.
everything. Yeah, I got everything.
Nice. I love it. Because usually it's like, yeah, the artist's work is never done, and so for you to say, no, I actually fixed everything. Well, there you go. This is now the definitive version of Turok. This is as good as it gets. So go check it out, and you can get that physically. You can pre-order that now. So with that, I'm gonna stop
It
the
wasn't so
gameplay.
much it wasn't so much is there anything that you couldn't fit in, but it was like get in whatever you need to get in by this date. And this is the
Oh yeah,
date where we have to cut it off and release it. Please.
nice.
They want it submitted.
I know everybody likes to know what controller are you playing with? I love it. Stadia controller surprise. It's like I
Oh
always like to
wow.
give those little you know
That's a
little bit of
lost relic.
little bit of shock, shock and awe to the audience.
How
Okay,
how is it? Is it an enjoyable controller?
I love it. Feels great. It kind of messes with my mind because it's the layout is the so the thumbsticks and the positioning of the buttons are PS2 or PlayStation with the thumbsticks in the
Yes.
middle, not offset. I prefer offset. The feel of it, like the mold of it, feels like a Switch Pro controller, and the button
Oh,
configuration is the
is the
Xbox
Xbox.
configuration.
Hmm.
So it is the most mind warping controller I've ever used. Um, but I like it. It's fun. It's good. And Yeah. But anyway, fellas, I know, and Grover specifically, I know you love these games. You're really good at them. And that's why you couldn't wait to come back so you could play more of them. Eric,
Today's opposite day, isn't it?
this is steep competition, but I feel like you'll be all right. So before we go into the main game, okay, I have a warm-up game for you. Okay. Now, they're kind of based on similar principles. And those principles are that is the Moby score. Okay. If you don't know what the Moby score is, fear not, I'm going to tell you. The Moby score is the Bayesian average of critic and player ratings. You can use the Moby score to get an idea of how others feel about the game. Okay. We're talking about a number from 1 to 10, but it's a 100-point scale. So, decimals exist. And if you're like, hey, what's a Bayesian average? Do you know, Eric? Grover?
I don't know.
Well, let me tell you. Bayesian inference is a method of statistical inference in which Bayes' theorem is used to calculate a probability of hypothesis given prior evidence and update it as more information becomes available. Right? So we're all clear on what the Bayesian average is and what Moby scores are. Basically, higher is better. Okay?
Okay. Thank you.
As a warm-up, to decide who goes first in the real game, I have looked up a series of games that came out in the year. Well, actually, this is just for funsies. How many games from 1993 that have a Moby score have the word dinosaur or dinosaurs in it?
1993?
Yeah, in 1993. Video games came out, and man, some of them they had dinosaur or dinosaurs in the title. How many games had dinosaur or dinosaurs in the title?
Super Nintendo and Genesis were in their heyday, right? During 93.
It's also arcade games. NES games might still have been coming out. PC
Maybe
games.
the tail end of NES games.
Sure. And how popular do you think dinosaurs were at that point?
I'm trying to remember when the first Jurassic Park came out. Was that 93 or 94?
Yeah, is dinosaur in the title of Jurassic
Park? No. But I mean, no.
You're saying that's when the boom happened. That when the boom happened.
Yeah.
Like, okay.
Like,
yeah,
dinosaurs.
Yeah,
right?
well, Jurassic Park did come out in 1993. Yeah. But keep in mind, you still got to make the game. You can't just say, hey, dinosaurs are hot.
Yeah. It would probably take them like 6 months to a year, maybe.
Back in the day,
for a low effort game.
Mm-hmm. That's right. Just throw out a number, any number. How many games? Eric, what do you think? How many games?
I'll go with 24.
Okay.
I was going to say 50.
Okay. Well, Eric was closest. 5. 5 games came out in 1993 with the word dinosaur or dinosaurs in it. And because Eric was closer, he gets to guess in this pregame. I'm going to tell you all 5 of those games. Okay. You have to tell me which one has the highest. You're going to pick one, and Grover will pick one. Whoever's choice has the higher Moby score gets to go first in the real game. Okay? So I'm going to give you 5 games. They are.
This is a game to get into the game. Okay.
Exactly. They are. Color a Dinosaur. That's the first one. Tom Mason's Dinosaurs for Hire. That's the second one. This is my favorite title. Cadillacs and Dinosaurs. Then Dinosaur Detective Agency. That one sounds cool. And then We're Back, a dinosaur story. Now, the thing about We're Back, if it's necessary to know, is We're Back, and then there's an exclamation point followed by a colon. Then it says a dinosaur's story, possessive. So, do you need that information? Probably not. But those are the 5 games. Eric, which one of those do you think has the highest Moby score?
Cadillacs and Dinosaurs. And it's got a good soundtrack too.
Grover, what do you think?
I don't think if that's the one Eric knows, I think whatever one that I choose is not going to have a higher score than that one. But I'm going to go with "We're Back."
I mean, full title, please.
"We're Back: A Dinosaur Story."
Yes, that's correct.
Dinosaurs story.
That's right, possessive. Eric, you are correct. Cadillacs and Dinosaurs has an 8.1 Moby score. People love Cadillacs and Dinosaurs. That is a Capcom public. What do you know about Cadillacs and Dinosaurs? Other than the soundtrack being a banger.
Oh, that's pretty much it. It's an arcade game as well.
It's like a side-scrolling beat 'em up. I don't even see dinosaurs in this game. None of the screenshots have dinosaurs in it.
There is.
There are? I'm seeing like a bunch of gangsters and there we go. I found one. So you do actually fight dinosaurs in like a side-scrolling beat 'em up thing. Nice. Well, there you go. Cool. Well, here's the real game. 3 rounds. I have put in to Moby games 1 word, and I've taken all of the games with that word and ranked them from basically 1 through however many these are, 14. You will take turns, 3 rounds. It's basically the inverse of the ranking will give you that many points. Oh no, sorry, I lied. You will get the number of points as the Moby score is. Okay? That's how it works. So higher is better.
Okay.
The word is, and this is why I said you missed the point to take notes, Turok. Okay? I have every game with the word Turok in it. There are, like I just said, 14 games on this list. Now, I should say that some of these are duplicates, so you will have to specify platforms. Okay? And I'll also need full titles. Make sense? Grover, you are now fully immersed in Turok. I've rattled. Now, if you noticed, I was careful. I did not say some of these full titles. I skipped over them. So when you jumped in and said Turok Evolution, I specifically didn't say the name of that game so that at this point you would not know it. But you are very intimate with Turok Evolution. Therefore, you know that that's one of the titles in the list. But I will not say any further. Eric, since you won the first game because your love of Cadillacs and dinosaurs, you get to go first. What is your first choice?
Okay, so what do I say again?
Just the name of a title that you think has the highest Moby score. And that title has to have the word Turok in it.
I definitely don't want to say the last one, so I'm not going to say that one. I'm going to say Seeds of Evil.
Full title.
Oh,
full title, and give me a platform. And year. Not a year,
N64.
but give me... Okay. So
N64, 1998.
Wow, okay. Yeah, as long as we got down to that point. Yeah. Turok 2, Seeds of Evil, is number 2 on the list with a 7.7 Moby score. That's a strong start for you, Eric. Grover, what do you got?
He said the one I was going to say, so I'm going to have to say Turok Dinosaur Hunter for N64.
That is number 1 on the list. I told you he's a competitor. He didn't want to believe it, but he is. 7.9. Still anybody's game. We're neck and neck.
The funny... maybe I'll say it at the end of the game.
Yeah, okay. Eric, your second choice.
Well, I'd have to go with Turok Evolution at that point.
Oh, man. Turok
Evolution. And pick a platform, most popular one.
No, that's good enough. There's only one. Okay. Turok Evolution only. Oh, yeah, go ahead. Give me a platform, because there are actually multiple lists.
Differences, yeah.
Turok.
I mean, there are differences, but just like, I'm just trying to aim for one that has the highest rating, so I'm going to go with PS2 would be the one that most people would have played.
Well, I'm going to give you... So all of the console versions of Turok Evolution are looped together. And that is actually the bottom of the list at a 6.1. Yes.
I believe it. I believe
Yes.
it.
I mean, I know it's not good, but I thought like
I
had to
guess
be
that's
better
the.
than other ones.
You would think that there was a little fanfare, Obviously, the critical reception wasn't good, but there seems to be nostalgia, to Grover's point. So it's not a bad guess, but it was unfortunately last on the list. Grover, you're in prime position to gain some ground here, or further your lead, I should say. But what do you got?
I don't know if this is on the. It might be on the Moby's games list, but I'm going to say the Turok 2 remaster on Switch.
Okay.
Turok 2 Seeds of Evil.
Turok 2 Seeds of Evil by Nightdive Studios is
Yeah.
on the list. It's number 8, and it has a 7.
Okay.
Well, okay, here we go. Let's see what we got here. Let's look at the score here as we go into our last round. Eric Grover has the lead with a 14.9. Eric, you got 13.8.
Oh,
You got some big numbers here in between to really make headway. So what do you got? Your last choice.
I'm just going to say Turok Rage Wars, N64.
Turok Rage Wars for N64 is number 4 on the list. Brings you up to a 21.3. Grover,
I gotta
you're
go
in a
with
big position here.
Is Turok Steam on the list? Turok Steam. Turok
You
1.
mean
I can't say
Turok.
Dinosaur Hunter because we had to take it off.
Oh, okay. So you're saying Turok, the Nightdive Studios, Turok.
Turok
Released in
Nightdive
2015.
Studios.
That is number 5 on the list with a 7.3. You squeak out the victory, Grover. I told you he was a champion.
Barely.
And here he is. 22.2 to 21.3. Very nice.
That was close.
Now,
close.
Here's the rest of the list. Turok 3 Shadow of Oblivion is number 3 with a 7.6.
Okay.
You said
which version?
Number N64. So the N64 versions of all the games were the top 4. So interesting how that trended. I think the critical average, like you could tell how games became more scrutinized as time went on, and I think that's ultimately what was the downfall of Turok. So Nightdive's Turok number 5, 4, Rage Wars is number 4, Turok is number 5, Turok 3 Shadow of Oblivion Remastered is number 6. Then it's Turok. I don't know how anybody would have come up with this. Turok Battle of the Bionosaurs.
I would have never guessed that one.
That was for Game Boy. That came out in 1997. Turok 2 Seeds of Evil, number 8.
Maybe Digital Eclipse could do that one.
These are other reasons why I separated, not just because of your remasters versus the original release, but also Turok 3 Shadow of Oblivion for Game Boy Color was number 9. Turok, Disney's Turok by Propaganda Games, that was number 10 with a 6.7. Turok Evolution for Game Boy Advance. See, if you said that, that would have been number 11. That apparently has a better rating than the console versions. Then Rage Wars, then Rage War for Game Boy Color, then Seeds of Evil for Game Boy Color. I miss the days when you had these weird platforming versions of console games, like these odd portable versions, just because we got a bunch of people playing on those, let's give it a shot. You got some really good gems. You ever play Max Payne on the Game Boy Advance?
Tony Hawk's Pro Skater on the Game Boy Advance, that was a very interesting reinterpretation of that game under Game Boy Advance limitations.
Yeah. Oh man, remember X versus Sever? Yeah, terrible movie, great game. Great game. Really great game. I think it ran. What was that on? Eric, was that on the Duke Nukem engine or something like that? It was similar.
I think it was their own engine.
It was their own engine.
Yeah, I think it was, but it was very impressive. I remember playing that. I was like, "This is a Game Boy Advance game."
Yeah,
wow.
Gave a lot of Duke Nukem vibes. Actually, a lot of the things that they did back in the day on Game Boy Advance, the Kill Switch Game Boy Advance version was super impressive. It had the cover mechanics and all that stuff from the base version of the game. And if you don't know what Kill Switch is, check it out. It's good stuff. That's basically the order of operations to get to Gears of War Okay. It goes Win Back, Kill Switch, Gears of War.
Gears of War.
That's the order. We don't talk about Win Back 2. Nobody talks
Which
about
version?
Of Win Back 2 or Win Back?
No, there's Win Back on N64.
Oh, and then PS2
Win Back
voiceover.
on PS2.
No. We don't do that. We just talk about the N64 one. Also playable on NSO, which is great because I think I was the only person who popped off, and I was like, "Oh, Win Back's here!" It's awesome. That's good stuff. All right.
They reached out to you specifically.
They might as well have. Yeah. Well, hey, that was fun. Thank you for indulging my silly games. And now's the time where we wrap things up. So, Turok Trilogy pre-orders open now, mass retail. So find them at your retailer of choice. I think they're at Best Buy, Amazon, etc., etc. I'm largely speaking to North America. I don't know what the worldwide distribution is. So apologies for that. But Eric, as the champion, you get to chime in first on where people can find you if you want them to find you. Are you on the socials? Are you not on the socials?
I'm always on Discord, the Nightdive channel.
Oh yeah.
If you're a fan of Turok, I'll be on the Turok channel.
I'll have a link to the
You
Discord
guys should
below.
know me because I'm a regular community member there, modder, before I joined Nightdive. So people should know me.
Oh, that's awesome. And you hinted at it before, but where were you before Nightdive?
Several other companies in the past, in local to where I live, indie developers, making
awesome.
mobile games.
Nothing wrong with that. I have I've got mobile blood on my hands, for lack of a better term. Look, man, I respect it. I respect the mobile games. It's fine. It's all good. That's how I started in the industry. Was making advert games on mobile, but that is a story for another day. Actually, it's some cool stuff. I made a Nerf AR game back in 2012, I think it was. That was pretty wild. That was a thing. Anyway, that was before augmented reality was cool, or maybe when it was its coolest. Grover, you're out there. You're out there hawking wares on the socials. Where can they find you?
Yes, I'm at Grover Wim, GroverWhim. I'm on what used to be Twitter and Blue Sky, and yeah. You can find me talk about Nightdive stuff or my own independent projects that I'm working on.
Very exciting stuff. Go do that. Go follow Grover and all his stuff, and go hit up the Nightdive Discord. I'll have all those links to the socials, to the Discord, Nightdive, Atari. Otherwise, you can find me on Blue Sky. I have retired from the platform formerly known as Twitter. I mean, my account's still active.
Don't blame you.
Please don't find me there. Find me on Blue Sky. It's cool. They're verifying people now as of this recording.
Today.
So that's cool. I don't think they'll verify me. I'm not important enough. But hey, with enough followers, maybe I will be. Doesn't matter. You can find me there. Jays of Doom, links below. And Eric, Grover, thanks again for joining me. Thanks to you all for listening. Please review us if you made it this far, because that means you like us. Leave some positive feedback below, or any feedback below. I'll take it. Until next time. Bye.